Hi, I'm Mark Victor Hansen,
And my name is Robert Allen. We're both authors. Mark Victor Hansen is the author of the #1 nonfiction best-selling book in the world, Chicken Soup for the Soul. This is him.
and we wrote together 1 Minute Millionaire and Cracking the Millionaire Code, but that's not what we're here to talk to you about. What we want you to do is read yourself rich. That's why I said, I'll not scream it at you, I'll say, read yourself rich.
Read yourself to wealth.
And why do we say that? Because all great readers aren't leaders, but all leaders are readers. And John Kennedy said,
leaders are readers. And that's what you have to do. You have to lead your way to wealth through reading. If you're not reading, you're not accessing all this powerful information that can change your life. Have you ever read a book that's changed your life?
We've read a lot of books that change our life, and it re-vectors us in higher and higher directions. We know that that's true of our students and our friends, the people we hang out with. And you say, well, wait a second. How does this work? If you learn more, you earn more. Yeah, that's it. It's simple. But if you learn more, you earn more, and then you get to return more. Because most people think that they should go out and beg to get to give philanthropy. We believe in philanthropy, which means philanthropic entrepreneurship, and that means philanthropy, the love of humanity, and the contribution back by raising your value. We're saying raise your self-value. Raise your self-concept. And the kind of reading we're recommending is a little different than maybe you've heard. It's called self-help action books. And you remember the first time you met W. Clement Stone, who used to give everybody 3 books, and now you and I do the same kind of thing. You went up and talked to Clem, and he said, look, you got to learn some skills, and you got to learn them from reading. And one of the skills you got to learn from reading is
how to sell. He said, you have an idea in you, something that's important for you. You got to learn how to communicate it to other people so they'll do it.
And some of you say, well, I don't want to sell, but remember, I'm of Danish descent, and the word sell comes from selgi in Denmark, which means to serve. And what Christ taught the two of us is he's washing the feet, and the boys are saying, boss man, come on, tell us, what do you got to do to be great? He said, it's real simple. The greatest amongst you is servant of all. We're saying we want you to serve at a higher level. The only way you can serve at a higher level is if you deserve at a higher level. The way to deserve at a higher level is to raise your expectations. And your input determines your put, which determines your output. Your input is your reading, because it allows your imagination, your imagination. God's divinity is in human imagination. God's divinity is in human learning. God's divinity is in reading. And I feel my heart opening up because Bob and I are addicted. That's true. We're positive addicts.
We are.
We both got libraries that have libraries. We cannot go in a bookstore without dumping a lot of money. I mean, I've been with Bob literally around the world. We've been to Latin America, Central America, Asia. We've been through Europe. We've been everywhere in America and Canada. The fact of the matter is that every bookstore we go in, has there ever been a bookstore we walked out without buying something?
I'm going to buy a book. So our challenge to you is to start to read. Turn that television off and tell your kids to turn the television off. Families that read together succeed together.
Why is that, Bob?
That's because when those kids read those words, the words come through and instill into their souls the messages that they need to hear. And these books, basically, a lot of these major books that have been written have been downloaded from higher power, we believe. I mean, I think our books have really been inspired, if we might be so bold to say so. And we just encourage you to be a reader, and then we encourage you to write your book.
Now, why do we tell you to write your book? First of all, every little kid, hopefully at parents at their best, are read to, whether it's Dr. Zeus or one of our chicken kids' books or one of his books or whatever. But as you get older, you need to read out loud to your friends and read out loud to your kids and read out loud to your spouse. But there's another level, this right to read. At my kids' elementary school, somebody gave $150,000, not me, and the principal did this study, and here's what they discovered using Hyper Studio, which is what we think could end illiteracy in the world, is that the little 5-year-old who was dyslexic, reading backwards and upside down, started typing in "the snake moves through the grass" and then animated it. The minute she learned to write, she learned to read. The minute she learned to write and read, if she had Vietnamese parents or Laotian or Cambodian or Hispanic parents, she went home and showed that to the parents who couldn't read, like my parents couldn't read, and suddenly the parents learned to read, and they started checking it out. We're in this exciting, exciting time. We think that every reader should teach a non-reader how to read. Now, I understand that's a big thing, but Bob loves challenges, so Bob's now going to challenge you to do that.
I challenge you to read at least a book a month for the rest of your life.
Now, we got to challenge them also to take some non-reader and make them, inspire them to be a reader. Go ahead, challenge them.
I challenge you to find someone who doesn't know how to read and teach them how to read, and then show them the books that could transform their life. What we want to encourage you to do is just to get involved in this process of reading and become part of the world of intelligence from the books that have been written. And like I said the last time, I want you to write your own book. We wrote ours.
And we
What's
want to
your
even
book?
help you. We'll show you how to fast write it. We'll show you how to market it. But that's not we're not here to sell. We're just here to tell today and here to share. But let me finish with a chicken soup story that I think will catch you in the right place. We got a great story in our first book about a guy who didn't know how to read. And he's graduating high school and can't read. He's dyslexic. Now, this is back in the 40s and 50s, and no one knew then. His mother said, college. He said, college, I can't go to college. He takes all true, false tests. He passes college. He becomes a school teacher. He can't read. He has the kids read because he literally can't read. And all of a sudden, he buys a piece of real estate. He's down by you in Carlsbad, makes a lot of money, ends up being worth $50 million. And his greatest fear was that someday the judge would say, Johnny Corcoran, you can't read. And sure enough, his lawyer found out he couldn't read and did all the stuff, stole all his real estate. At age 68, he had to go into the library with another little old lady who taught him how to read. And his wife was a Phi Beta Kappa nurse. And he's driving on the roads, and for the first time ever, he sees all the highway signs, and he's reading them to her. And she says, my God, you're telling the truth for the last 50 years. You can't read. And for the first time after he learned how to read, he went into the bedroom, pulled out the little shoebox, untied it, pulled out all the little pink envelopes that his wife had written him love notes, and cried voraciously because the first time ever he could read her love notes. We've got to help non-readers to read. Non-reading is invisible. Non-reading is dangerous. We can't allow somebody who can't read to poison us, which has happened at 4-star restaurants, just because they always thought the red, white, and blue was flour and it turned out to be rat poison. Simple stuff that you and I take for granted. I watched my dad not be able to read a men's room sign. And I said, I'll change that in the world. And Bob has joined me in my dedication. We're doing it with some of our businesses. We're doing it with our books. We're doing it with our audios. We'll do anything we can to help make reading come alive and be exciting. Bob is going to conclude now with saying why you're going to thrive by being a great reader.
Think of all the powerful messages that have been written in the greatest books that have ever been written. Those messages are waiting for you to discover them.
They'll change you, they'll change your life, they'll change your future, they'll change your fortune, and they're going to change your relationships, and you're going to fall in love with books. Like
Be a reader.
Thank you.